Hi everyone. I'm Special United Nations Green Ambassador GERARD NSENGIYUMVA, and one of the courses I successfully completed since joining the United Nations organization in June 2018 is how to prevent e-waste. The unsustainable nature of generation and disposal of e-waste in a globalized world causes serious concerns for resource efficiency, human health, and environmental impact. The loss of certain scarce resources can even impact the future production chains and therefore technological innovation as we are missing appropriate substitutes. In addressing this issue, UNITAR, one of the United Nations agencies, developed a self-paced course in English of 2 hours with a final certification. So why did I take that course? Can you imagine a world without e-waste? What will it look like? How do we achieve it? This course aimed to inspire as much as educate. It dares learners to co-create a better tomorrow through individual and joint action. More specifically, by the end of the course, I have been able to discuss what electronic waste is and the diverse impact it has, to describe the role individuals, companies, and authorities play in reducing e-waste, identify ways for consumers to support circularity, including by influencing industry players and lawmakers, highlight individual and community actions that can prevent e-waste, as well as stay in contact with the Sustainable Cycles team. So, what is actually the state of the play? So, in module one, we learned what is e-waste, how much e-waste are we generating and why, what's the impact e-waste has on the economy, environment, and human health, how are different countries approaching the e-waste problem. We have seen that there are six categories. We've seen that the global US monitor of 2020 and in the previous year, we had estimates of 7.2 kilograms per person. So e-waste is actually all electronics and electrical products that are discarded as e-waste. You see, they are discarded as waste without intention of reuse um, in the household um, and in a business, of course. So, e-waste items of all types of electric and electronic are discarded without effect, intention to reuse. So that is what we call e-waste. So we have three terms: reduce, reuse, and recycle that comes more often in this field of e-waste. So the six categories include um, lamps, screens and monitors, large equipment, temperature exchange equipment, small IT equipment, and telecommunications equipment. So those are six categories of e-waste. So there is a problem of the world's fastest growing solid waste. The 2020 Global Waste Monitor actually gave some estimates during those years that were about 33.6 metric tons That is about 5,700 Eiffel, Eiffel Towers. Eiffel Towers in France. So you can understand how big the problem is. So only 20% of those of the e-waste are properly collected and recycled. So in actual fact, what we call circular economy eliminate waste. So for countries starting with e-waste regulations, the priority should be the proper management of hazard items and the development of basic infrastructure. So in the next step, countries can focus on expanding and upgrading collection and treatment systems, uh, which with while countries with well-established collective and treatment systems can focus on further improving the recovery of high quality materials and components from US. So as I learned, there is what we call Basel Convention, which is recognized internationally. That is BASEL. So we have some websites like ewastemonitor.info. We also have globalwaste.org. So it's crazy how much e-waste we produce. The amount of e-waste we generate per year grew by 9.2 metric ton since the year 2014, and it was projected to grow to 74.7 metric ton by the year 2030, almost doubling in only 16 years. So the estimates given in the Global US Monitor 2020 showed that US generation in different regions was like this. In Europe, they had 16.2 kilograms per person. In Australia and Oceania, they had 16.1 per person. In Americas, they had 13.3 kilograms per person. In Asia, they had 5.6 kilograms per person. Lastly, in Africa, individuals generated only 2.5 kilograms. So e-waste is predominantly generated by consumers in developed countries who shop in excess and do not repair e-products, especially when it comes to small everyday appliances. Yet, e-waste is not just a rich country's problem. No, for two main reasons. One, as lifestyles change and the consumption grows, similar behavior increasingly be duplicated in emerging and developing countries. Second, e-products and e-waste travel across borders. Appliances are often produced in developing economies, sold and used elsewhere, and then exported back to developing states as second-hand products or e-waste. So there are challenges. There are also opportunities for tackling e-waste. Um, in 2019, collected and recycled e-waste was estimated at 17.4%. Remaining 82.6%, that is 44.3 metric tons is or was uncertain, and its whereabouts and environmental impact vary across different regions. US impacts on our economies, societies, and the environment. On the environment, when e-waste is discarded without being recycled, all the natural resources that went into its production are lost. For example, the carbon footprint of a laptop is around 422.5 kilograms, which includes the carbon emissions during the laptop production, transportation, and first 4 years of use. The information technology industry alone is responsible for around 2% of greenhouse gas emissions, as much as the entire airline industry. Those are information from the 2021 circular computing. In addition to resource loss, e-waste contains toxic additives or hazardous substances such as mercury, brominated phloem, retardant, that is BCR. There is also chlorofluorocarbons, CFCS, CFCSs, and more low correction rates, inefficient disposal, and poor treatment put at risk both the environment and human health. So on people, the first was on environment. Now I'm coming on people. On people, studies show that exposure to e-waste can be associated with cancer, heart, and respiratory defects, damaged neurodevelopment, and premature death. Toxic elements are found in the bloodstreams of informal workers at e-waste dumping and grounds where open burning is used to harvest metals. So after the environment, after people, let's go now on economy. The Global US Monitor of 2020 estimates that only about 10 billion USD worth of materials is recuperated through recycling, while the estimated value of materials such as aluminum, copper, and gold that can be recuperated is around 57 billion United States dollars. There is 100 times more gold in a ton of mobile phones than in a ton of gold one, in a ton of gold ore. The recycling of iron, aluminum, and copper contributed to saving, a net saving, a net saving of 15 million tons of carbon equivalent, CO2 equivalent. Most e-waste ends up in developing countries and is handled by informal workers. Proper e-waste management will improve safety and health, um, upgrade skills, and increase income for millions of informal workers. That is proper e-waste management. A proper e-waste management can improve safety and health, can upgrade skills, and can increase income for millions of informal workers. More and more countries are enacting e-waste regulation. However, laws change slowly and are often poorly enforced. Even when e-waste laws exists, the collection and management of e-waste may be poor due to lack of awareness, investment, and political will. So in 2014, 61 countries covered by registration, policy, and regulation. In 2017, we had 67 countries covered by registration, policy, and regulation. In 2019, we had 76 countries covered by registration, policy, and regulation. So the use of global e-waste statistics partnership database to find out how much waste is produced in your country, how much is collected and recycled, what national e-waste policies are in place, will your findings change your behavior, in what way? So that is the importance of e-waste statistics. So you can use the global e-waste statistics to answer those questions. There is a global e-waste statistics partnership database that can help you answer those questions. So thank you very much for watching this information, and let's together work together to fight the increasing number in metric tons of green gas emissions of e-waste in various ways, as I have given you the categories of e-waste and how those problems can be tackled by different actors in this field. So I'm very grateful that you will keep watching a series of these modules as we also await the new year in very few days, because now we are on Tuesday, December 30th, 2025. I send best wishes for a peaceful, prosperous, and more productive new year to you and to all of us. Thank you very much.